Preparing to live stream the meeting. Wow, this is cool. Zoom. It has a little arrow that goes to YouTube.
It's saying we're live right now. I think we're live.
We're live.
You got my meeting. I don't know who that is in that picture, but yeah, we're live. I'm looking at me on the screen right now. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it's behind. There's a lag.
Yep.
There's no everybody.
There is no everybody. I'm showing 0 here. So hi, nobody. I'm nobody. Nice to meet you, nobody. Oh, we got real talk with Richard is there. We got somebody here.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. This could. Hey, everybody! Thanks for coming to the train wreck.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I'd say this is like a high class dumpster fire.
Yeah, but why is it? What's going on?
There's a little bit of a delay. That's all.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's just go with it. Okay. So tonight, I thought I'd have my good buddy Melonhead come on. He's got a head this big, and it's slap full of brains. And I wanted to talk to him about the mortgage rates. I can't do this, man.
I can hear the audio coming back through. You probably just got to turn your computer speaker down a little bit. I can hear. I mean, can you keep talking? I think I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Yeah. The echo went away. You're good now.
Hey, how's the audio in the chat? Can y'all help me out with that? Because there's like a 10-minute delay in the.
Yeah, we're good. You're good. I got it going right here. You're solid, Chris.
All right. Higher mortgage rates have had a major impact on mortgage application volumes this year. You guys know that all of us have been calling for a housing collapse. You know, this is going to happen. And it looks like it's happening right now. Mortgage applications volumes this year, which are now at the lowest levels in 22 years, according to the latest data from the Mortgage Bankers Association, which is the MBA. I don't like acronyms, but Mortgage Bankers Association. Purchase applications are down 21%. So it's starting to fall off a cliff. But wait a minute. To refinance a loan, applications to refinance a loan had plunged a massive 75% from 1 year ago. The MBA now forecasts that total mortgage originations this year will be 35% lower than 2021 due to the enormous decline in refinances. Jack, what do you think about that?
Well, why would you refinance your house if you're going to get a higher interest rate when you refi your loan? Of course, refis are going around. They're raising interest rates. The price of money is going up, and that's killing the mortgage industry. And it's my personal opinion, it's going to kill the real estate industry. By a lot of metrics, it already has killed the real estate industry. There's an ETF called MBB, which is made up of mortgage. Go ahead. Still there, Chris? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
The lag's killing me. I'm hearing myself talk to me. I don't know what I need to do. Is it doing that to you?
Nope.
Yeah, this is what's going on here is not supposed to be happening. Like it's almost all right, how about now?
I hear you just fine.
Oh, all right, I'm good. Okay. I had to turn the live stream the audio down. All right. Sorry, guys. having some technical difficulties because I am a tech tard. That's just the way it is. All right. Interest rates are over 5% now. So if you buy a house, you're going to pay 5% plus right now. And what's going on is the people that are not that would like to sell aren't, because they've got such a low interest rate. It's kind of a strange environment, which I knew it was going to be different, but it's really, really strange. Look, I want to get into more rental property. I want everybody watching this to experience passive income through rental properties that have been set up correctly from the get-go. My rental properties are awesome. The people in them are awesome. It's just a great game to play, and I want everybody to do it. But it's hard to get excited about it at this moment. The refi people don't want to sell. Rates are going higher. Buyers are stopping looking. What's going on? I'm not sure this is part of it. You know what I mean, Jack? Is this part of, because in Germany and in Venezuela, it was all very strange. They all had different metrics, and it was a different situation to each one. And this might be part of our metric, because we are headed into the Thunderdome like this. It's really starting to get steep. What do you think?
For all intents and purposes, the housing market has already crashed, right? Loan origination is down. Inventory is up. Quantity of sales is down, right? For every metric is down except prices. Home prices still haven't fallen. Does that mean home prices aren't going to fall this time around? Or does that just mean home prices have some serious catching up to do? Because the prices are still up there. They're not coming down. I mean, some local markets are starting to come down, but these prices are still ungodly high. And the interest rates are now double what they were a year ago. A $300,000 house, the average monthly payment has gone up by $1,000. Price of the house, still same $300,000 loan. You're talking an extra $1,000 in your monthly payment right now just because mortgage rates have gone up so much. That's affordability. If people can't make the payments, they're not going to buy the house. So the buyers are disappearing fast. And as the buyers are disappearing, they're drawing in new sellers, because now people are saying, well, if I'm going to sell, I better do it now. So you're starting to see the inventory come up. And who's buying, who's selling? Very few people are buying, right? We've got a whole generation has been priced out of real estate. I feel for millennials and Gen Zers. They cannot possibly own a home right now.
I think they're going to get their chance.
They will get their chance, but not yet. So there's a whole generation of buyers waiting in the wings. Got guys like us that want to buy up assets on the cheap as soon as the market crashes. So we're waiting in the wings. We're not buying right now. And then you got a whole lot of people who right now own rental properties, don't want to get stuck in them. So they're coming into the market. They're putting their rentals up for sale, starting to flood the market with inventory. I think we're very close to prices coming down in a big way. And the big story has been BlackRock. Like BlackRock's buying houses for cash and everything. All the pension money is flowing into real estate. I don't think that's going to keep up much longer. So the big buyers are going to start disappearing pretty soon. A lot of new sellers are going to be coming in, and prices are going to fall. They're going to fall rapidly.
Hey, let's get in the comments. I want to holler at my people. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here for this Friday night live stream with my good buddy Jack. He's got a big old head and a slap full of brains. If it's not full of brains, we're in trouble.
Plenty of air in there anyway.
Fatty McButterpants, something special. Tell me where you guys are from. I want to know where on the earth you're coming from. Iron Man's here. D-Mac. We met him. Do you remember D-Mac? He was
we met D-Mac in San Antonio. Yep, he went around the Riverwalk with us. What's up, D-Mac?
If y'all haven't made a meetup, you surely need to. I like doing these live streams because the people in the comments are the salt of the earth, the best people ever. It's crazy the community that Ninja Nation is building together. And I enjoy talking to every one of you every day. I'm starting to miss comments though. I go to the next video and then the comments are gone, and it really sucks. I'm kind of tapped out on that. So if I missed it, I didn't mean to. Aunt T, I'm a millennial, and I thank goodness I got mine before 30. I'm so lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, I don't know what to tell millennials because they came up watching their parents get wiped out in the global financial crisis, right? And they said, "Oh, I'm never going to buy real estate. That's where money goes to die." So they sat out the whole bull market. And now they're in their late 30s, almost pushing 40. And by they, I'm talking broadly about the generation here. Please don't take this personally on an individual level, anybody. I'm talking about generation wise. Now they're pushing 40. They're still renting. These prices are so ungodly high, you know, depending on the market, 10, 12 times their annual income for a modest home. You know, like you're talking like a 3-bedroom ranch here. And now the interest rates are going up. So maybe they did have money set aside and they finally got enough cash raised for a down payment and they're eating the cost of inflation on that cash that they've raised. And they're ready to buy that house. And now mortgage rates have doubled. Now they can't afford the monthly payment based on their income. So I don't know what to tell a millennial right now, other than you'll get your chance. Because I think this era of funny money is coming to a close.
You think?
I
think we're
do.
fixing to get way more of it. I think we're fixing to see a massive pile of it. I think it's gonna it's gonna be staggering the money they print after when they, because they're using tools they don't really have, you know, they shouldn't have access to. And when they get through absolutely destroying our currency, I think they're going to print so much and then they're going to blow it up completely. It's going to look
Yeah, I
like
think when they do, they will turn the printers back on. I'm convinced they will. I just think it's in their interest. But when they do it, they're going to blow up the currency so fast and so quickly and so violently. I don't think, you know, what we're seeing right now, 8% inflation, you know, 7-9% inflation will be nothing compared to what happens once when they throw in the towel and they realize like we can't fight inflation. We need to turn the printers on. That's when people start dumping their dollars for anything they can. That's when Von Mises crack up boom, you know, the mass stampede out of currency happens and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, a feedback loop.
We got some here. We got some feedback from Blue 2. I see a ton of price reduction here in Rapid City, South Dakota. But I'm still waiting on the sidelines with cash until the price falls to 2017 levels. That's awesome. Good job, man. People that have cash, when we get down to the bottom, are going to make money for the rest of their life. Just that is the way it's going to be. I'm awful with timing, but I pretty much know that. Aunt T, you're all over the place, Aunt T. I'm a millennial. Oh, let's see. Wait, I went backwards. Mosquitoes are high in vitamin D, and A. I went back up to try to catch some of these, man. He leaves a funny comment, Tony, on every video I do, just about, and they are actually funny. He makes me laugh daily. Iowa, I asked earlier where y'all are from. Iowa, Sweetwater, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Hello, Jen. 29 Palms, California, Wisconsin. Let's see, where am I at? It jumped on me. I hit the down button.
There's my man, Neil Hahn. Neil's in the chat. What's up, Neil?
Neil, I talked to him today. Buy silver and palladium. Good job, man.
Platinum.
What
the
Jack
wrong
just
PGM group.
Hey, you know, Neil's going to start a YouTube channel. Do you know that?
I did not know that. That's awesome. All right.
What's the name of your channel, Neil? Tell them to toughen up. In Kansas, 70K will get you a nice place. Low-paying jobs abound. I was raised in 2-bedroom, 1-bath for 5, and we were better off than most. There's going to be a lot of people living together. I think somebody put something in my comments. You know, I talk about the Thunderdome a lot. And what I really want to do is build a small community with a big fence around it. And I don't want to call it a commune or something weird like that. But it's going to be really nice, small houses around like a lake, like a small pond or something really nice. And you have to have a good credit score, a good background check, you know, do it just like I do my rental properties and call it Thunderdome Homes. It's where we can, be around like-minded people, live and barter and do what we do, and kind of place distance between us and the Great Reset. And somebody in the comments today said, what about, what was it? Wasn't Thunderdome condominiums. It was Thunder.
If you ever have to evict somebody, you just put on a hockey mask and you get on the PA and you say, just walk away. You can put an end to all of this. Just walk away.
You can go down to Bartertown.
Oh, wait, that wasn't Thunderdome. That was Mad Max. Thunderdome was the third one. Yeah, okay. Tina Turner.
Thunderdome, what I thought was Thunderdome was the situation they were in after Mad Max. Is that right?
Thunderdome was the trial by combat that they did when there was a dispute between businessmen. They would do a trial by combat in the Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Okay. All right. So I need to catch back up on my Mad Max if I'm going to talk about Thunderdome. All right.
That was in Bartertown, which was run by Tina Turner. But Master Blaster had all the methane. He had the energy, so he ran Bartertown, didn't he?
Oh, see, you can relate so much of it back to. I moved my camera. You can relate so much of it back to the Thunderdome, like the people hanging on the back of the tanker trying to steal the fuel. There's going to be people stealing fuel all over the place. When diesel goes to $8 a thousand, it's a mess over here, man.
You got a super chat from M&J. Speaking of events, M&J was one of the folks we met in Dallas.
Yes,
at the Ninja meetup in Dallas. What's up, M&J?
Super. I don't have my super chat. Oh, there it is. $5. Thanks, Jim. Hey, she's an awesome person. All the people in the comments are awesome. I'm telling you, I've never had one person get on here and act stupid. All of them have been awesome people, and that's why I do the Friday night live streams.
And then you had to go and invite me on. That'll teach you. Ruin your streak, huh?
Yeah, well, we'll see. If we start getting weird.
This is part of my plan to crush you, Chris. I'm going to come in. I'm going to sabotage your channel from within.
Man, as long I don't mind you being in front of me, as long as it's about this far. I want to stay neck and neck as we get through this thing. And I'm going to drag, every time I get ahead of you, I'm going to drag you up.
You better get 500 out in front of me. That's all I'm going to tell you. You got to get.
All right.
You better get 500 out in front of me.
Coming up.
Give yourself a cushion.
All right. I love it. Let's see. Domy homies. Pigs made the fuel.
That's right. Yeah, the one guy had pig killer carved into his forehead.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sure did. Need to do an East Coast meetup. We've done some of those.
Well, you guys did the East Coast? Oh, that's right. You did Miami, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't really a meetup on us. We were just there. So you're right. We do need to do an East Coast meetup.
I heard Ninja mentioned Memphis on a live stream today. People said, when's the next meetup going to be? It was cryptic. He just said Memphis. Didn't give any background.
Yeah, Memphis is that's going to be a good place, I bet. That's going to be a lot of fun. Beale Street. I've never been there. I've heard a lot about it. So, yeah, Memphis is on the horizon. Let us know. I listen because he from Louisiana. Yeah. James P. ISB stupidity. I don't get it. I really appreciate the super chat though. I'm gonna have to split it with Jack.
I checked your grammar. It passes. We're good.
Look, just so you know, Jack's got a hard job if he's gonna straighten my grammar out, because he does it a lot. He got on my ass about nuclear.
Resonated.
It's not resignated.
It's not resignated. I'm like, oh, Chris quit his job again. No, that really resonated with me.
Okay. Yeah.
Resonated.
Look, I really do. I wish I could have learned how to speak better. I wish I should have spent a little more time on grammar, but I didn't. So this is what you get. Just be happy they're not 4-letter words. Because I know a lot of those. Been in construction my whole life.
I spent some time on a fishing boat. I know a few of them.
I bet you
It's a
do.
family show, Chris.
That's right. All right.
Here's Pete the Squatchy. He's there. Hey, Pete. Met Pete in
Pete.
Denver.
Man, Pete's a good dude.
Yep.
Yep. He's a good dude. And he's a machinist. He's got all kind of CNC machines. He invents stuff. He's kind of a man after my own heart. It's really cool to know people like that. Trans-American Square, downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know. I like North Carolina. It's the only place I'd rather live than North Arkansas. Chad FB watching from New Zealand. That is so cool.
That's awesome.
Same stuff you guys talk about is happening down here too. Really?
Hashtag the fringe.
That is so cool. He's part of the fringe. That means he's not going to participate in the Great Reset.
Yeah. What time? I wonder what time it is in New Zealand right now. You guys are, that's like a 10-hour difference or something like that. 10 or 12.
Memphis comes strapped. Is it bad there? That's a really good. That's a good question. What time is it in New Zealand? Gerald Taylor, that's my old dad. I've got my eye on a new old stock Kaiser blade. Get mom to engrave. Some call it a sling blade.
I aim to kill you with it.
Man, Billy Bob Thornton killed that movie. And you know who plays a really, really good redneck is Dwight Yoakam. He plays the best asshole redneck ever.
I gotta look him up. I don't know the name, but I'm gonna.
Dwight Yoakam.
Hold on.
That's it. We're done. We can't be friends anymore. I cannot believe that because you're.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen him before. I'm trying to put the face. What has he been in?
Jen says because we're splitting it, I'll have to send you another 5. That's good. That's perfect. Thank you, Jen. James, you don't have to do that. Sorry, I said Jen, I think. Let's see. Stacy, 100% about the crime. That sucks. I guess they're talking about our next meetup.
In Memphis.
I love Sling Blade. I do too.
That could be relative too. You know, something, I don't know. I don't want to like call anybody out, but I'd imagine crime like in the East Coast cities. Everybody thinks crime is bad in their city until they go visit like Camden, New Jersey or Newark, you know, or certain parts of Baltimore. And
what is that like the top? Is that top 1 or 2 places? Freeport.
Camden, New Jersey was up there like many years in a row. That city is really bad.
Shreveport's like 6 or something. It's way up there.
And DC is usually pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But honestly, all the big cities right now, especially since work from home became a big thing, the tax base is leaving the cities. It's flooding out of there. Why pay to maintain a big expensive office tower when everybody's working out of their offices at home? And then why pay to have an apartment? Pay freaking $8,000 a month for a 600 square foot apartment when you can live in a palace in Tennessee and still do the same job. The tax base is leaving the city. And what does that leave behind?
Right. Hey, I got a good question for you, Melonhead.
What's up?
Can you explain the dead cat bounce?
Dead cat bounce. I don't know the origin of the phrase, but I suspect it's something like this. If you take anything and you throw it hard enough against the ground, it's going to bounce, even a dead cat, right? Like anything will bounce if it falls hard enough and fast enough. I'm pretty sure that's the origin of the phrase.
I like that.
Yeah, a dead cat bounce is just
it's like a dead cat spike.
Yeah. It's a very minor upswing amid a much larger downtrend. And it's natural psychology. You get dip buyers come in, people start panic selling, and it goes down. 1 or 2 people say, I'm going to start buying. A few more join. Next thing you know, you got a little bit of a rally that fades fast. The negative sentiment eventually overtakes that short-lived positivity, and the market resumes downward. That's a dead cat bounce. And I think what we saw in mid-April really started mid-April, ran into the first week of June. You could argue it ended this week. Definitely, it's over now. That was a dead cat bounce.
I like that explanation. That's kind of what I had in mind. Because if a dead cat just hits the ground, it just it's done. But if it smacks the ground, it bounces back a little bit, which is another great time to sell. Uh, speaking of that, you can call that number on the board if you're wanting to get into precious metals. It might help you after the dead cat bounce. The PM, Prime Minister of New Zealand, just talked about the reset. Oh, it's starting to get some traction. Isn't that crazy?
Careful, we're going to get Chris in trouble. We can't say that. We're going to get context.
Well, she didn't say
We're
the
going to get
G reset.
contextualized.
Yeah.
I like to call it the magnificent mulligan. It's my stealth word.
Okay.
Or the big do-over.
That's great. I like that. I like that. The magnificent mulligan, the do-over.
We all know what they're talking about, but you can't. Man, when I did that context video, like I saw you and Ninja did a video back to back, like within a few days about the magnificent mulligan, and both of you got that stupid context tag put on your videos. I was like, no, forget this. Like, so I made a whole video making fun of that stupid context tag, and man, the growth in my channel just like flatlined.
They tied you to the whipping post.
Like 60 or 70 new subscribers a day, and then I made the context video, and I went to like 3 for 30 days. Like just no growth, no new views. The algorithm didn't show me to anybody. They totally cut my channel off for 30 days.
Well, it gave me a chance to catch up, but I don't want to catch up like that. So don't do that anymore.
I'd do it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun making that video.
I bet, but
you shouldn't laugh at your own jokes that hard. It's probably not, probably a sign of some kind of psychological disorder. But man, I was cracking myself up making that video. There, I said it.
I am not from Memphis, but broke down there, and it is bad.
All right, we're gonna stay in the good sections in Memphis then.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the
nice,
good parts.
well lit, touristy areas.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine the homeless people there because it's a music-y town, you know. And if it's anything like the other big cities we've been to, there is homeless people everywhere. And I'm about to make a video maybe on do not feed the homeless. A whole video on it. It's important. So I know it sounds harsh, but damn, it is time. The ultimate motivator is food. There's more jobs for people everywhere.
I got to be honest with you. Like when I see how rampant it is, and it's not, I mean, there's always been homelessness, right? Since I was a kid, there's always been talk about homelessness. You drive through a city, you will encounter that, but it's never been anything like we're seeing now. I mean, it's so just ubiquitous everywhere. Like when we were in Denver, I could not believe it. We're not just talking about a couple of people. We're talking about in every major city in the country, thousands, maybe tens of thousands. The number has to be in the millions nationwide now of homeless. That's not a couple of people who don't want to work. That there is something majorly broken right now. I think it's the inflation. I think it's the asset bubble and the fact that all the assets, the stocks, the bonds, the houses, everything kept ballooning in value, but the wages never budged. And so one by one, people are being just priced out of houses. They can't afford to own. They can't afford to rent. I mean, you got like a city like San Francisco. There's software engineers make $80,000 a year and they can't afford poverty living conditions. These are people who make salaries that we would have considered rich 10, 20 years ago. And they live below the poverty line in these cities.
I'm not believing that. I'm not buying it. I work with a guy every day. He makes $17 an hour, doesn't work full weeks. Okay. He's got a wife and 2 kids. He's not on the street begging. He's not. I mean, I'm not saying he's well, I'm not. He's in poverty.
The other thing,
I'm talking about
you can throw on there an opioid epidemic to go with it.
Bad spending habits.
Hundreds of thousands of veterans coming back from war that are not getting the treatment that they need for what they saw and what they went through over there. You mix that with the cost of living increases, and it's a volatile combination. And I tell you, I wish there was some kind of program, because I know we've got industries like yours, right, where they're desperate for skilled people, where we could just get people.
Look, man, but that's changing.
This hopeless situation.
That's changing. Something's up. I was really thinking. That's why I started building my welding channel. I was really thinking we're fixing to need some people to weld pipe. We're really fixing to need some tradesmen. but it's not like last time. Last time when natural gas went to like $12, $14 a thousand, I don't remember, it was way up there. We were slamming and jamming, and everybody was hooking up wells as fast as they could. Now it's really different. It's like they're doing that sort of, but they are finding a way to do it as cheap as possible. For example, the pipe, they used to bring me pipe and fittings and say, here it is, hook it all up. And I would do everything. I would hook it up from the hole in the ground all the way to the cells to the pipeline out there, all the way through the equipment, all that stuff. Now it comes prefabricated. It's like you dump it out of a box and put it together with just
Less work in the field, more assembly than fabrication in the field.
They're streamlining it, and it's genius from that point of view. If you're on that side, then you did good. You prefabricated it, and it's just going to hook up, and they do. But it took me from something that used to take me 2 months to do. Now it takes me about 6 or 7 days to do. So that's really hurting us. Now, we've always had really quality welding on our side. So you had to weld with stick, and it had to be this certain way. It had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect. Well, now the people that are prefabbing the pipe are doing it with wire guns, just MIG guns. A monkey could do it. It's not as good of a weld. There's porosity in most of it. There's IP in the bead. The first pass is the one that's most important, and there's a lot of problems with it. I'm showing this person, look, if you're going to take my job, it needs to be right. But that doesn't matter anymore because they can get 3 times as much done for half the price.
Well, they had to operate, when natural gas went from, I think it peaked like 13.5, like 1350 per million BTUs around 2007 timeframe. And then the fracking boom and gas prices went down under $2 for a while. I mean, they had to get lean. They had the whole commodity space. Oil had to do it. Gas had to do it.
Well, most of them were hedged, man. Most of them hedged in at $5 or $7.
But the whole last decade was really, really rough on the commodity space, and they got leaner. And now the price is coming back up, but it's still got a ways to go, even to get to where we were in 2007. Right? I mean, we're still like 40% below those levels, even with the doubling that natural gas has done this year.
There was an LNG plant that just blew up. Have you heard about that?
Freeport. Yeah. The Freeport LNG plant. That's got very, very bad for U.S. gas prices, right? U.S. gas prices heading lower now, believe it or not, on that, because this is an LNG plant. This is a big consumer of United States gas. They take a lot of gas out of the pipes. They liquefy it, send it to Europe. So this is
natural gas.
Natural gas.
Yeah.
So this is having the effect of lowering gas prices here in the States, raising gas prices over in Europe, because that LNG was most likely headed to Europe. And now there's not as much demand for the Henry Hub gas here in the States. So higher LNG prices, lower U.S. gas prices, higher European gas prices.
Oh, man. So that's going to help our gas prices. That's going to help natural gas here.
It'll help. Yeah, it'll lower energy prices here in the States. It'll lower electricity prices at least a little bit. Well, it's not home heating season, but it might help build up the inventory a little bit. So we're sending a lot of gas over to Europe right now. The LNG plants are really running, 90% capacity right now.
Hunter says, I'm in Nashville. Memphis is the worst in Tennessee for violent crime.
Okay.
Well, y'all are talking me out of it. We're going anyway. We got to go somewhere, and it's in driving distance. We are in a trouble bubble. Thanks, Biden. Jerk. Our president is the laughing stock of the free world. It's a joke. He didn't know whether his diaper's full of crap or he wants ice cream.
I mean, Trudeau's worse. So we got that going for us.
Trudeau's evil. Well, I think Biden is too. Look at his past.
I just can't take him seriously. I can't take Trudeau seriously. Every time he talks, I'm just like, oh, shut up, you beta male little whiny.
He is too.
He's just, I just can't. I can't stand listen. The sound of his voice, like,
How do these people get into these offices? It's
Oh,
got
he's
to
been
be
groomed.
cheap
He's been groomed for life
by
for
the
this.
by the World Economic Forum.
His dad was some big somebody, and then Klaus Schwab
Fidel
knighted
Castro.
him.
Castro's his dad. Really serious.
Castro.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a Castro. Just throw him out there. I couldn't tell you what Castros look like, but it ain't him.
You should see them together. You should put their pictures side by side.
Well, their philosophies are pretty well aligned. Disarm the population, raise the taxes, throw some truckers in jail. Sure. Don't even get me started on that fiasco. That's another thing that got my channel in trouble. I went on a rant about Justin Trudeau. I was angry one day. It was when they did the seizing of the assets. I was very angry that day. I let it show on my live stream. I think that got me another timeout.
I got you a cover-up name for Trudeau. Turdo.
Turdo?
I learned that from somebody in the comments, and I don't remember who it was.
It was that little fairy to the north.
That's fitting. Little fairy to the north. That's
little fairy to the north. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Ben Richards.
Did we miss a super from Gerard Taylor there? Hey, Gerard.
Yep, that's my dad, Gerald Taylor. I sure did.
Oh, Gerald, not Gerard. Yeah, me and don't have my spectacles on.
Thanks, Dad. That's awesome. You're very kind. I have had the best parents. It's hard, when I talk about homeless people and there's something that happened in their life, and we don't know what that was. And I never had that happen because I had awesome parents, had awesome grandparents. So I really can't, and I try not to judge anybody, but we all do. I can't relate to that. I don't understand it, but when you have that good, solid upbringing, it's kind of it's different. It's different to try to wrap your mind around somebody being homeless and sorry or worthless.
I'm gonna put the pharmaceuticals on the spot a little bit too, because I think a lot of these guys, this is why I think it's a little different than like when I'm a kid of the 80s, right? And in the 80s, it was only people who grew up on a certain side of town that ended up like that, right? Or people on the other side of the tracks, right? It was never the people from the suburban, from the nice neighborhoods. It's everybody now is potentially falling for this, because you could have a guy is like a dentist, a lawyer, right? Like middle class, upper middle class guy. He slips and he blows a disc in his back. He's got to go for surgery. And they put him on Oxy or whatever pill for his surgery. And they told him, no, it's not addictive. It's fine. You'll be okay. And he got hooked on them. And it wasn't a problem right away because he was a wealthy guy. He had time off and everything like that. But he got hooked on the pills, and it inevitably went the way it went. And then one by one, he lost the practice. He lost the wife and the kids. He lost the house. Now he's got no money, but he's still got that addiction. And you know what? You can shoot it in your veins for a lot cheaper than you can keep the pills coming. And you inevitably end up on heroin. And it isn't just the people that come from the tough upbringings anymore. It can happen to anybody, though. These pills can get anyone. You have to be so careful when you go in for an operation or something and they want to pump you full of that stuff. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't give financial advice. I sure don't give medical advice, but absolute last resort. I've seen it happen to a lot of otherwise totally respectable, like well brought up people. And this stuff gets its hooks in you. It can happen to anyone.
T-Spin 1999. Man, I really appreciate that, dude. Two of my favorite in one chat. That really, seeing that kind of stuff, it's awesome. I can't thank you enough.
A lot of overlap. I see a lot of names I see on my channel here.
Yeah, I do too. It's kind of the community we're building together.
I think Mish fell asleep. Mish is still here visiting with me. We did like 2 hours and 50 minutes of live streams today, me and Mish. So he's probably worn out. He was in the next room with his computer. He was going to jump on the chat. I bet you he passed out.
Let's go back to the homeless thing, because it's been on my heart today. I was driving and I was thinking, I was mulling on it. And that's what I do. I really try to come up with solutions to problems. Like I think I've come up with a solution to abortion. I think I've come up to a solution for, that would help that situation. And that's an off. You don't talk about that. That's just so bad. Well, I think we should have, if you have a couple kids that you can't take care of, you should be offered 10 grand to get fixed. You can take it or not. But if you're addicted to drugs and the government offers you 10 grand to get your tubes tied, that could be a valid, or would that work, guys? That might really fix some things, because it takes a lot more than 10 grand to raise.
They already want us to own nothing. They already want us to eat bugs. They want us to sit still and not travel anywhere unless it's on high-speed electric roller skates. You want them to sterilize us now too?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh
I'm not
God,
saying them.
give them that power.
I'm not saying them. No,
they. I mean, ultimately, anything we're talking about, it's they are going to be the ones that implement it. I mean, we
said offer.
Similar.
You don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. It's not forced. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it can be undone. You just got to pay 10 grand back. It's 10 grand. They'll inflate it away. I'm just saying, we got to do something. I know a guy that used to do some work for me. He's got 10 kids. Doesn't have anything to do with any of them. He just goes around procreating. How's that helping anybody?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I tell you, there's one thing I've learned having kids is there is no right way to do it, and there is a million wrong ways to do it. When you have kids, you can do everything right and still be like, oh my God, what is happening? Well, I love my girls. They're awesome, but being a parent is tough. You're a good dad.
Man. You're a good dad. You're not a dope head. You're not a pimp. You're not, there's a lot of that going on. Yeah. And if we could keep some little kids from being involved in that, man, how cool would that be? And if you want to talk like the homeless problem, I think it's kind of a government issue. The government screws everything up. If you want to screw something up, let them run it. Run it straight in the ground.
There's a couple of things like I can't remember all of them. There's like 2 or 3 things that if you do, you are virtually guaranteed not to live in poverty. Virtually. There's always extenuating circumstances like health situations that you can't see coming. Finish high school, work a full-time job, and not have children out of wedlock. All right. If you do those 3 things, you are virtually guaranteed to not live in poverty. Finish high school, work a full-time job, and not have kids outside of wedlock. If you do any one of those things, or if you miss any one of those, there's a very good chance you end up in poverty.
Yeah, like do what the Bible says.
Are they in the Bible? I don't know that it mentioned.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like they know about it. It works. If you can do it, it works.
I tell you, being a parent is hard when you're one member of a team, like when you're just one parent of 2 trying to raise kids, doing it by yourself. My God. Like, so you do those 3 things.
That's it.
Finish high school, work a full-time job, and not have kids outside of wedlock. You are virtually guaranteed to not live in poverty. And that last one, that third one, that gets a lot of people. And divorce rates are on the rise. That sends a lot of people into poverty. And I tell you, guys, I know there's a lot of guys out there. When a marriage falls apart, the guy usually goes downhill fast. So
you really want to see this. If you really want to see what the government can do for you by giving you something, look at the Indians. Look what giving somebody everything does for a community.
Free blankets, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you give somebody everything, if you give somebody everything, they will be sorry and worthless, and that goes for your kids, and that's what the government does. If you go back to the Bible, I don't know where everybody sits on that, but I don't really care. If you gave money to the church. If everybody gave 10% to the church and the church did what it was supposed to do, that would take care of the homeless. That would take care of all the other things, not the government that's run by evil people.
And the
You know,
government doesn't give anything. They take and redistribute. They don't
right.
give. They don't create. They don't generate. They take. Right. And they always, every time some new power is granted to the government, it's always the same BS story. We're going to tax the rich and the rich are going to pay for this. And it's never the rich who pay for it. When they say the rich are going to pay for this, what they mean is the middle class. All right. Because it's not. The business owners pay nothing in taxes. They pay nothing in taxes. That's by design because business owners create employees and employees pay a lot in taxes. The tax code is designed to incentivize creation of jobs, and it is really designed to punish employees. The workers of the world, the people who trade their time for money, to use your expression, they're the ones who pay all the taxes. So when they say the rich are going to pay the taxes, it's never really the rich. It's the middle class, the working class that always ends up footing the bill. And they just constantly change the definition of rich.
Yeah, and it changes all the time because we get pushed up in a different tax bracket. You know, as inflation keeps on going, I believe it was Milton Friedman. He was saying if inflation goes up 10% and your wages go up 10%, no harm, no foul, right?
Yep.
Wrong. Because on average, you're paying 15% because you got pushed up into a different tax
into
bracket.
a higher tax bracket. Your tax burden's gone up. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So
the progressive
nobody
tax
wins.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. The way you mentioned that the government is incentivized to create inflation. Inflation gives the government a raise because people earn more money nominally, so their tax revenue goes up. They lie about what inflation really is, so they have to give fewer raises to their employees and lower adjustments to Social Security benefits and veterans benefits. And then it devalues the debt that the government owns, that the government owes. So inflation, like the government is incentivized to create inflation. And that's why the Fed is always saying we have this 2% inflation target. Why? Why do we have a 2% inflation target? Why must life always be more expensive? That's not right. It's never been like that before. For all of human history, there was deflation and life got better for people. Slowly but surely, life always got better for people. All of a sudden, 1913, the Federal Reserve is created and we say we have to have inflation. And standard of living stopped going up so fast. And now standard of living is actually in rapid decline.
So that makes me think of can you imagine, when my parents were growing up, one person, the man usually could go out and be a carpenter. And my grandfather, I know for sure he could have been a carpenter because my great grandfather was a carpenter, and he raised like 7 kids, and the wife didn't work. She stayed home and took care of the kids and cooked and did all the motherly things. How good of a life was that when one
blue
person
collar worker could support a family of 4, a family of 5? Yep.
Yeah,
and still
have
live
a
a middle
good
class
life.
life. Yep.
Yeah, but now it takes 2 to work and supply a mediocre living, or less, or maybe impoverished living. And that's really what I want to. Here's what my goal for my channel is. I want a kid or an older anybody to walk up to me one day and say, Chris, it's because of you or something I said or something we said that is the reason I own rental properties and they pay me every day and I don't have to sweat every day in the hot sun. Or it's something you helped me learn, got me welding. And then I took that money and invested in rental properties. That's what I'm trying to do on my welding channel. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. I've really kind of taken a pause on that. I'm trying to think it through because I don't want to be the welding teacher. I have more to offer than that. My time's more valuable than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but you can use that for a money train to invest in things. And if I'd have known what I know now 20 years ago, man, I would be living a different lifestyle. So I'm going to try to share that along the way. And that would be the ultimate for me to have, because, like Robert Kiyosaki, And I have my own opinions of Robert Kiyosaki. I've met him a couple times, and I've spoke with him about some things. And I'm not gonna say anything bad about the man, but he has helped lots of people with his Rich Dad Poor Dad book, including me,
Yep.
with his board game. I can't remember the cash flow. That was really cool. And I thought about coming up with my own game that had you build a trade, get a trade when you're a young man, and you get this money train. And then you have to work so long on this side of the board, and then you get enough money, and then you can try business. And if it fails, it's okay. You can run back to your trade. I've done it several times. Work and then invest, and you can keep working while you're investing, or you can jump completely out and do whatever you want to, but you've always got a trade to go back to. Unlike some of these jobs that it's like a corporate thing where you're locked in. If you ever leave, somebody will take your spot and then you're on the curb. It's completely different.
Yeah. Along the lines of what you were talking about, just like a trade and a little bit of business acumen to go with it. That's really the ideal economic setup for the next generation, right? For previous generations, it was the prevailing wisdom or whatever is go to college, get the degree, so you get the higher salary, and then you can get a good paying job, right? That was like the blueprint that they told everybody else, everybody they had to go follow. Different now because the price of the college, because the government came in and made it more affordable. Now it's unaffordable. You have to go into a lifetime of debt, and then the government is just going to tax everybody and forgive your debt, i.e., like they just gave the colleges a green light to raise tuition even more with the student loan forgiveness, because now the colleges know these student loans are just going to be bailed out by the taxpayer, so they're going to raise tuition by another couple grand, and people are going to stop borrowing money and going into debt to do this. They're going to stop going to college. There's no value in it. The value of the degree has come down, the price has gone up, and the jobs that you can get are no longer worth that. So now we have a shortage of skilled tradesmen in this country, and the raise that the blue collar guys got last year, the raise that the tradesmen got, that the business owners got, was more than the raise that the white collar guys got in the office. If you're a white collar office dweller, you're lucky if you got a 2% raise last year. Right? If you're an auto mechanic and you own your own shop, you probably raised what you're charging your customers 10, 15%. So the mechanic who owns the business got the better raise last year than the office dwellers did. So I think a skilled tradesman with some business sense is probably going to be at a huge advantage. And there's something really good you can get now between YouTube and master classes and all these courses you can get online. And there's a lot of garbage out there, so you have to sift through a lot of it. But you can get everything, as much of a skill set, as much information from doing your own research online, as long as you look in the right places, combined with a relatively inexpensive and expedient education in the trades. And you can come out at a young age where you're earning serious money and you know how to run a business, and your peers are only halfway through a 4-year degree. And then they're going to go spend 2 more years on their master's and 6 more getting their PhD. And they're going to get out of school in their 40s, $300,000 in debt with no idea how to produce value for anybody. So I think the trades is where it's at. I think we have this, I don't want to call it a regression, but this shifting of values back towards more hands-on, I don't want to say basic skills, but like someone who can fix and maintain something is going to be worth a lot more than somebody who can write code.
Well, you got to think through that though, because you don't want to get into a skill that's being taken over by some kind of AI. And most all of them will be, truck driver, the big pipeline welders. They have already been fighting against automatic welding machines. I mean, these things can do 3 to 1. They pull this big thing over, and it only works. They only use it on really big pipe usually, and they don't take measurements or anything like that now. But there's some. Technology essentially makes everything go to zero. It really drives the price of things down. We got a super chat from James. I raised my rates for roofing between 17 to 18%, average about $150 an hour now. That is so cool, man.
There you go.
That's great job, James.
James got a bigger raise than I did this year. That's for sure.
Well,
And case in point, man, there's, you know,
trades. There
tradesmen,
you go.
that's 17, 18% raise. That's right about the rate of inflation, actually. I mean, that's the real rate of inflation, not the government number. I think if you go to shadow stats, you're probably going to see something similar to 17, 18%. So you got the guys in trades, they're keeping pace with inflation, while your white collar guys, their standard of living is
they're
dropping.
they're taking what they're getting because they're working for a living. They're that's what you get into. And I worked one time a long time ago. I had an actual job, and I got a job now. Don't get me wrong, but it's more of a, I work for myself. I go to this gas company, that gas company. I have to subcontract, but I had go to a paper mill. It was a paper mill. The 401k, all the benefits, all the little honey pots they lay out for you. You guys that are watching, man, this might touch somebody. When you're hiring on a job and they start talking about, well, if you work so long, you get this much vacation. And if you work a little bit longer, you get this. And if you can do your 401k, and they lay out these honeypots to get you, well, you're not going to leave. Now, after you get to there, you don't want to leave because you've got a good job and it's safe and it's secure, and it's really, really hard to get out of that. I've never had that. They told me I had a 90-day what do they call it, probation period. I quit in 50 days. I knew I couldn't do it. It was just like college. I went to college for 3 days. I drug up in college because I just knew, this isn't for me. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So just be aware of that as you're looking for a job. I'm going to start that Welling channel back up. I've really got to reach these young guys. That there's so many people that I see every day that are doing it wrong. They're not doing what I want them to do. They're not what I want them to do, what is best for them as far as trade, skills, what you're learning, what you're doing. Most people are looking at entertainment nonstop. I work with one every day. All he does is look at entertainment every day in, day out. He's got his phone up on the way to work. I'm listening about real estate. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to Ninja. I'm listening to content, stuff to make content. I'm really trying to improve my life and people around me. And other people are watching puppy dogs and kitty cats and monkeys play with chickens and just the craziest, stupidest stuff. And we've got to get past that. It's so distracting. If you've ever been on YouTube Shorts or TikTok, it's like you're doing something, all of a sudden it's like they get you. It's like
They keep you glued.
all of a
15
sudden
seconds
drool's
at a
coming
time.
out of your mouth and you're like, break it off, stop. Go do something productive. Ask yourself, is this something a rich person would do? Is this something an entrepreneur would do? Ask yourself those questions. I have to. I'm not perfect. Trust me. I get sidetracked in a New York second. A squirrel goes by, I'm off. But so you just try to focus and remember that as this thing goes down, and it is too, it is going to look bad. I think it's going to look sickening. I think when we get to what we're getting into, it's going to make you sick when you see the things you see on your phone and your TV in other countries. This country might be bad, but it's not going to be anything like other countries. We're getting into that. And after that, hopefully we've got a chance to invest. It's once in a lifetime opportunity, I hope. And then from there, I think it's a positive thing for a while. And then after that, we actually really might live in the Thunderdome. What is that kind of how you look at it, Jack?
Yeah, I don't think it'll get that bad here, at least not at first. But I see a lot of things here that worry me. I see like political violence is becoming more common on both sides, where somebody has a different policy idea than you, or they wear a hat or a shirt for the wrong candidate. It's okay to just walk up to them and punch them in the face. Or worse, people getting shot over politics. And that's becoming more normalized, and more excuses are being made for it. Like it's an okay thing. It's not. Just go to the voting booth and vote the way you're going to vote, and then go home and shut up and go back to work. Like elections come out the way they're going to come out. And man, I tell you, like with the global financial crisis, there was a very big lurch, extremely leftward in the U.S. Economically, right? Like socialism was a 4-letter word before 2008. Not anymore. Socialism is becoming very mainstream in the U.S. It's not a four-letter word anymore. And as soon as socialism becomes commonplace, that means communism is right behind it. And, you know, you've got these black-clad trust fund babies in San Francisco walking around calling each other comrade, thinking it's totally okay to walk up and beat somebody over the head with a bottle because of something they said or because of how they vote. And if there's another major economic calamity in this country, like I fear is probably coming, I think that is going to gain more of a following. That's dangerous. That worries me. A communist uprising here in the United States would have a body count all over the world because of what the U.S. means economically, agriculturally, everything. If it goes down here, it would be so much worse everywhere else. But I don't think we're immune to it here, especially not. I mean, two major financial crises within 2 decades, and every time they'll blame capitalism, even though capitalism didn't cause this nonsense. It was Keynesian economics.
They do too, man. They always do that. It's like
printing money by the trillions and dropping it from helicopters. That ain't capitalism. But they'll blame capitalism for it.
No, and you know, I've got some really smart, intelligent people, enlisted officers, like 30-year Marine enlisted officer. They're worried about the flies from the dead bodies. I mean, there's some people that are way out there on how bad it's going to get. I guess I'm just too optimistic for that. I really think we're going to beat it this time. I'm not saying it won't get that bad later, but I really hope we've got 1 or 2 more times. Maybe you cannot put a time on this stuff. Everybody wants to. Everybody, ever since forever, you know, it's been something. Well, the world's going to end this time. Well, it doesn't. And I'm hoping we've got 1 or 2 more, but it's looking like just the state that we're in. You know, you're looking at the homeless. We've already talked about the homeless. We're looking at the entertainment that everybody's walking around like zombies. They're zoned out looking at this crap that does nothing but suck your life away. And kids, I don't see kids running around on their four-wheelers and motorcycles and doing things outside. It's like they're non-existent around. It's strange. Society is changing, and that's what makes me think that the weak men that came from the baby boomers that set the system up for themselves, that they knew that was going to fail, when it fails, and they have all these extremely weak kids that have never had to work for anything, that couldn't pour piss out of a boot. Sorry, everybody, I'm getting carried away, but there's a lot of people like that. And when that all comes to a head, I don't know, it really could be that bad, but I'm hoping for 1 more time where we can buy rental properties. People are going to pay rent, you know, some prosperous times where there's prosperity, to get ready for the true Thunderdome. Because I think it is going to be in our lifetime. I'm not convinced it's this time, if that makes sense.
Well, they might be able to buy themselves another year or 2, maybe. I
think year or 2.
So. I don't think so. To be honest.
What if we go to a digital dollar? What if they switch the script and do a CBDC and it cures everything for a little bit? Or
I don't think people are going to play with the digital dollar. I don't think people will accept it. And you can't force people onto a currency. If half the country refuses to use their stupid Fed coin, right? As soon as they give you the stimmy, I was talking about this on my live stream today. They're going to give you a stimmy. That's how they're going to get you hooked on the CBDC, right? The dealer, the first one's always free. And then you come back. Okay, now I'll sell it to you. Now he's got you. They'll give you a stimmy. They'll give you $600 in free Fed coin if you sign up for Fed Wallet. Take their stimmy, dump it as soon as you get it. Go buy silver, gold with it. Go buy an asset with it. Dump that crap the second they stimmy it into your wallet. Send the price of it lower. Refuse to participate in that system. And if millions of people do that, that thing will be dead on arrival. It won't work.
Yeah, but you're talking to the fringe. You're not talking to people that.
Well, that's why we got to get these channels up to 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
Chris,
no,
so
I
get that message
100%.
out there.
I'm kicking the camera again. I got to do better. I agree 100%. but the population will accept anything free, anything.
A large segment will. Yep.
Yeah, they'll just be just like that. Just, oh, $5,000. Yeah, that's it. Switch my currency to Chinese currency. It could be the digital yuan. If it's going up in value and they think they can get rich off of it, it would be just like that.
I mean, they'll use it to ration. That's what they'll do. They'll, once they've got everybody on the coin, then they'll program it so that each wallet is only allowed to buy so much carbon, right? They'll say, oh, you bought steak this week and you bought gas this week. You're not allowed to buy an airline ticket and go on vacation. Your carbon footprint is too high. So we're going to disable your wallet. You can't use it. Or they'll say, you know what? The price of gas is getting too high. So we're going to lower everybody's limit. Everybody's wallet's only allowed to buy 5 gallons of gas this week instead of 10. And that's how they'll do price controls, by programming the money to not let you buy it on what you want.
Can you imagine?
And that will fail because people will start dumping their Fed coin. The CBDC won't work. It won't work because they'll try this BS. People won't have it. They'll dump their Fed coin for something else that they can trade for what they need, whether it's precious metal, whether it's paper dollars,
So
Bitcoin,
that's when
whatever.
Bitcoin's illegal. Bitcoin, what if, okay, so everybody likes to talk about this. Nobody likes to talk. The gold bugs really don't. Gold's illegal. They did it before. They could do it again. And I think it's likely. I think it's more likely silver will be illegal. That does not keep me from investing in it. But because we need it for these electric cars. If you get in these green weenies way, if the times in front of us are anything like they are now, they're going to do whatever. Like I say, here's the value of Bitcoin. Anybody that owns Bitcoin is going to get their head cut off if you got it. It's illegal and punishable.
I'll leave the country.
By life in prison.
If they try that, I'll memorize my 23-word phrase. I'll memorize it. And then I will march my Bitcoin right out of the country, and I'll go to anywhere in the world, the last place on earth, if need be, that it's still legal. And I'll go there and I'll buy a new hardware wallet, and I'll enter my recovery phrase, and I'll get my Bitcoin back.
So if you break the law here and you move to another country, they can expedite your ass back here from that country because you have the money. That's what they want, is the money. And Bitcoin is now money, right? So they can say, okay, that guy owes the United States tax money and he's in Mexico. Hunt him down. AI will find your ass the very first second you pick up your phone, and it looks at you and be like, all right, Jack's here.
And you know what you've just done? You've just created an incentive for any country, and whoever does it first wins, to say non-extradition, Bitcoin is legal currency, right? So the first country in that scenario that says we have a non-extradition.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And watch the capital flood into that country. Watch how that country within a couple of years becomes the wealthiest place on earth, because all of that wealth will flood into that country. And you're seeing it a little bit with El Salvador right now. There's some things going on in El Salvador I don't like. They're in bed with the Bitfinex guys and the Tether guys. I don't like that. That doesn't smell right to me. But there is money flowing into El Salvador right now because they're welcoming it, while China is banning it and all these draconian countries are cracking down on it. They're creating incentive for the countries who say, yeah, bring it here. They want to ban your wealth. We will gladly take your wealth. We'll even give you citizenship. Come on over here. So if they try to ban it here, I'll take my money where it's good.
Okay. All right. So that, I don't know, man.
Look at what's happening in blue cities right now, right? In New York City, they demonize success. They raise the taxes so high. They told these people they're the root of all evil. Now the tax base, all the people who pay all the taxes in New York City are leaving that city. Bye-bye.
Hey, Kurt sent us a super chat. My good buddy Kurt.
Is that Kurt the Glazer?
Kurt brought me some moonshine.
Yeah, I remember Kurt. I remember we said Kurt. Was it Dallas or Denver we met Kurt?
Dallas.
I think that was Dallas. Yep.
Yeah. And
what's up, Kurt?
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
Yep.
Thanks for the super chat, brother. He gave me a flying pear. I don't know what that is. Can you see it?
I see it. Yep. Super pair. Super.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the gold. And I don't want to keep you too long. You've been doing live streams all day.
No, I'm running on caffeine and discontent, man. Got me spun up. I'll go for 2 more hours if you let me.
Well, we could try that.
Talking about government.
The watch now is going up. So you guys keep watching. I'll keep talking because this is important. So the outlaw gold, we'll talk about silver next. They've done it before.
1933.
And I believe God only put so much gold in the earth because it is the perfect money. It's finite. You cannot print it. It makes all the sense in the world to own gold. Now they have made it illegal. Very, very few people turned it in, and countries are hoarding it. China, Russia, all of them, all the countries are hoarding it right now. So, that's, if you're buying gold and silver, you're doing what the elite and the wealthy and the world leaders are doing. Now, those world leaders could say, hey, just like they did last time, it's illegal to own gold. Turn it in for, I think it was $35 or $25, and then they marked it up to $35.
Hear the boat's sinking now.
Does that tell you anything about inflation? Gold was $35. Anyway, what would hold them back from doing that? What, in your opinion? I've got my opinion, but I don't.
Nothing would hold them back. It's just it's a shame, that boating accident.
Yeah, well, I get it.
I'd love to comply, but man, went down with the ship somewhere in the middle of Lake Michigan.
I had all my guns in there too.
Yes, you go look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to my guns.
What gold? Exactly. What gold? What silver? What lead? No habla.
So you're just saying, don't turn it in. You're done. Then we're gonna trade it.
Why would
on
you?
The black market?
Why?
Well, wait a minute. You're gonna trade it on the black market, and there's cameras everywhere. Everybody, if you've got a camera on your phone, they can turn it on anytime they want. Can't tell me different. They're gonna know what you're doing. The metaverse is going to be a bitch. Mm-hmm. I mean, realistically, if they say Bitcoin's illegal, the price is going to fall out and it's going to look like cigarette butts on the sidewalk. If they say gold,
no, they said the same thing when China banned it. Didn't happen. When China banned Bitcoin, China's most populous country on the world. Right? The price dropped a little bit, but it bounced right back up. It made another high after China banned it.
They ban it like once a month.
You know what they did? China just cost themselves wealth. Wealth just left China when they did that.
Well, see, China is mining Bitcoin. They are the biggest ones. They mine the most Bitcoin. You can't trust any of that news. You don't get any good news from there.
Look, banning Bitcoin doesn't help anybody. Like Kazakhstan, if you remember, it wasn't too long ago. There was a big blackout in Kazakhstan. This would have been like 2 or 3 months ago. And what they didn't tell you in the press was that Kazakhstan had ordered all their Bitcoin miners to shut down to try to save on fuel costs because Kazakhstan has government subsidized energy. Right? The government artificially suppresses the power prices in the country. Price controls do not work. All right. When you do price controls, you cause problems. Well, they have artificially low energy prices because the government subsidizes it. So that made them a natural hub for Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin miners flooded into Kazakhstan because the taxpayers are footing the bill for powering their mining rigs. Kazakhstan was one of the biggest Bitcoin mining countries in the world. And then Kazakhstan's government is now losing money because the price of energy skyrocketed in the fall. So they can't afford to subsidize Bitcoin mining anymore. So they ordered all the Bitcoin miners to shut down. And a day later, the whole country lost power because when you have too much juice on the grid and not enough load, that's every bit as bad as when you have too much load and not enough juice. So they created this imbalance in the markets when they banned Bitcoin they created an imbalance in the power markets when they subsidized electricity. That drew in the Bitcoin miners, and then they tried another price control. They tried banning the Bitcoin mining, and they sent the whole country into darkness for like a week. Because these government overreach, these draconian moves, they don't work. They create imbalances. They create inefficiencies, and something breaks. And crypto mining, like the ESG people, don't even get me started on them. My God, we'll go for 2 more hours. But they're going after cryptocurrency, saying it's got this carbon footprint, it's got this energy, and they don't realize Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency mining can actually be used to stabilize the grid. It can make the power grid healthier. It's such a good thing because it's this large demand for electricity that can be fired up any minute when power prices are cheap. And, like we have power plants are going out of business in this world right now in the States, like especially in Illinois, because they have so much subsidized wind that they actually have power prices go negative at certain times a year, where you need to pay to put electricity on the grid because there's so much juice coming in from windmills that it doesn't matter if they operate profitably, they're getting subsidies. They don't care. So they're putting so much power on the grid that power prices go negative. The power plants have to shut down. And now Illinois has very little baseload generation left. Their power grid really struggles to stay afloat in the wintertime. Well, now if they were to build Bitcoin mining, large Bitcoin mining operations for these big 1,000 megawatt nuclear reactors, now when power prices go negative, instead of paying to send that power to the grid, they can keep their nuclear reactor running at 100% power where it likes to be, and they can just send that juice to mine Bitcoin, where they can kind of store that energy and extract that wealth from their reactor in the form of Bitcoin. And then when power prices recover later in the day, if it gets colder or when the sun comes up and industry fires up again, they send the power back onto the grid. So Bitcoin mining can be used to stabilize the power grid. It can make the grid healthier. It can make the grid less carbon intensive. But try explaining that to the ESG people and they're liable to break a bottle over your head because you think differently to them. And seize your assets and call you God knows what.
See, that's the thing. None of it's about climate. They couldn't give a crap less about the climate. They don't want anything but control. It's it. All they want is the resources for themselves, and they want us to be their slaves. They want us to have they want just like China. It's just like this. Elite control the peasants. That's what they want. Period. Done. End of conversation.
They didn't eat lentils in Davos. They were not eating lentils and bugs at those fancy parties in Davos last week. They were talking about how we should be made to. They were talking about how we need to take the high-speed electric roller skates when they rolled in there on private jets, and then they took helicopters to the hotels. But we need to take the roller skates.
All this is fact. That's what people, it's weird to think about our life as a James Bond movie. Because if Klaus Schwab doesn't look like Dr. Evil.
Tell me he is like, welcome, Mr. Bond. Please have a seat.
What we need is the great reset. It's ridiculous what's going on.
My man's got a lair somewhere. He doesn't live in a house. He's got a lair.
And a bald cat.
Got a hollowed out mountain somewhere in a volcano with henchmen.
All right, Jack.
They hench.
I've kept you up too late. It's like almost 11 o'clock there.
How long we been going? Did I do 4 hours of live streams today?
I don't know. It's hard to do. It's hard to see on a Zoom. It changes everything. I was able to actually like my own video. If you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button. I should have mentioned it earlier because I always forget, and I know you guys do too.
And don't forget to subscribe to Chris's channel. He needs you to if he wants to stay out in front of me. Because I like this guy, but I'm afraid I have to crush him.
I
must break you, Chris. I'm sorry.
Look, if you want to catch Jack up because his channel's starting to get behind, go check out Jack at Nobody Special Finance. He has a big old melon head and it's slap full of brains. He can mumble and go on about the stock market until you just get tired of hearing it. It is nuts how much this guy knows. He's better than Gregory Manarino. I'm telling you. Don't.
Trying so hard.
You think he's watching?
I hope he's watching. No, actually, right now, I hope he's not watching. I want him to like me, man.
Well, I ain't worried about that. You're better than him.
Hey, man, Greg's, he's been, for the last couple of weeks, he's been outperforming me. I can tell you that. For the last couple of weeks, for sure. I got this dead cat bounce caught me flat-footed. I didn't catch that one. I should have seen it coming. Hindsight is 2020.
I thought you called the dead cat bounce.
I called it a dead cat bounce, but it bounced higher than I thought it was gonna. So,
Well,
And it
good luck
lasted
catching
longer.
all those,
Yeah.
man. I don't even try.
Yeah. Hey, you win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Guys,
got a
thank
pretty good
you,
year.
everybody that's here. We've got Curtis, Food Hoarder, D-Mac, Neil Hahn, Carl Young, Glenn Godfrey, Raw Food Writer Greg Martin, Mary Post. Miss Mary's here. She's awesome. Does Mrs. Mary always comment on your videos, Jack?
Mary Post? I think I've seen her there. Not a regular.
She's a regular on my channel.
I've seen Mary around.
Skylar, we live in a meme. It does seem like that. Curtis, Raw Food Writer. I don't know everybody that's here, but I got to let Jack go because he's crashing. He's been up too long. He's running on.
I ate my Wheaties this morning, Chris. It's inflation day. It was CPI day. I knew I was in for a long one.
Well, I've been up since 3:45 as well and drove 200 miles
Bro,
and worked 12 hours.
you must have a real comfy truck.
My helper thinks so.
Yeah.
He snores so hard he's sucking flies down his throat. We got a real fly problem around here. He's over there and he's coughing up flies. That's no joke.
Windows, man. You got to roll the windows up.
Yeah, no. Well, when you're at work, the doors are so the back seat of my truck has got shelves in it because that's where I keep all my belting machines and tools, specialty tools that I want out of the weather. So the doors stay open a lot. It accumulates flies, and it smells like a wet dog in there. So, it's what you get.
Well, thanks for having me on, brother. Always good talking to you.
Absolutely. Guys, you have an awesome, awesome day. And I have one problem, and that is I do not know how to stop the live stream from Zoom.
Stacy, help.
I don't know.
There's got to be an end stream button in there.
Oh, I got a pause button. Let's try this. Later, guys.
He's just pausing. It's probably going to. Should we just trick him to say recording stopped? I'm still showing live here.
Okay. Let's see.
When in doubt, pretend like you're still on the air because I'm pretty sure you're still on the air. Oh, yeah.
Still live?
Recording stopped.
Is it stopped?
No.
Well, I'm in Zoom and I can't stop it.
All right. Show goes on. We're doing 2 more hours. Let's do this. Setting records.
Setting a record.
Stacy's to the rescue.
Still live. Turn it off.
Doing it live.
Turn it off, babe. Turn it off. Just go to
Where's that hammer you've been banging on the
end,
anvil?
Go to Zoom. Go to Zoom and end it. Go to Zoom. End meeting.
All right, we're out. What, am I just live now? Am I live by myself? All right. Do I have control of Chris's channel right now? This can't be good. All right, I'm out. See you guys. That's funny.